Georgia is on fire. Let's talk a little Dogs recruiting because UGA, they've gotten 19 commitments since May 1st, 7 in the last 7 days. I think 3 or 4 of them happened right here on this channel. Make sure you guys hit subscribe for those. Big weekend, though, Steve. James Johnson, the #1 defensive lineman out of the state of Florida, and also Chase Calicut committed to the Dogs. How'd they pull this one off?
Well, for James J.J. Johnson, they led for much of his process. It just depended on who was the competition. Was it Syracuse? Was it Texas? Was it Miami or Florida? But Trey Scott, the way that Georgia puts out defensive linemen year in and year out, he sees it as a place that he can maximize his potential in Athens, one of the jewels of the class that ranks number 2 nationally. And then Chase Calicut committed to Georgia during the overtime OT7 playoffs. It was the official visit. I mean, Texas was considered the longtime favorite. There was some buzz around Michigan and Washington at various points, but the official visit to Georgia, Kirby Smart, his pedigree of developing defensive backs, playing in that scheme, being pushed, those are some of the biggest factors for Chase Calicut here. I think that had more of an old school style recruitment. He picked the place that's going to get the best out of him from a straight up just player standpoint.
Hmm. And there are still some big names on the board. A couple 5-stars in state in Tyler Atkinson and Caden Prothro. Do you see those going the Dogs' way as well?
I certainly could. Was with Tyler Atkinson at the overtime OT7 playoff finals over the weekend. He says that all 4 of his visits are in play. So you got Clemson, you have Georgia, you have Texas, and you have Oregon. And he's still going through his final dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's, but Georgia's obviously the place he's been by far the most. They've been recruiting him since 8th grade. No program is producing linebackers at a higher clip than Georgia right now. And comfortability, proximity to home, I think that Georgia's right there. But are there some programs that could go higher from an NIL perspective? I think that's possible as well. How will that factor into the decision? Time will tell. Texas is a program that's really rising. Just had him on campus this past weekend. I think with them not landing Xavier Griffin, I think it shows that they are all in on Tyler Atkinson, 5-star from Loganville, Grayson, state champion. And then Oregon and Clemson, I think that both those programs have given him a lot to think about, particularly Oregon. Maybe we see Oregon surge here at the end for Tyler Atkinson, but I could definitely see him in Georgia's class. And I think we'd considered them the program that's maybe led the most in his recruitment, but now it's decision time. It's all about who leads at the end. Caden Prothro, saw him at the Rivals 5-Star Challenge early last week. Chad Sims and I both talked to him, logged on 3 RPMs in favor of Caden Prothro to Georgia after talking to him. Dogs will be tough to beat.
All right. Now, Jay Lamar committed to Georgia right here on this channel. One running back in the boat, but we know the Dogs are hunting for another. Could they pull Derek Cooper out of South Florida?
They could. I think there's confidence around the Georgia program about their position with Derek Cooper, but when the plane lands, can they get it all the way to between the hedges? Because Miami is looking to divert that thing to Coral Gables, and Texas continues to ramp it up. And on one of the days at the overtime OT7 playoffs, he was decked out in Texas gear. The next day, he was decked out in Miami gear. And those are 2 programs that I think are fully vested in landing Derek Cooper this cycle. So Georgia's going to have some major competition for him. A couple other Georgia targets, Tyreek Boogie Green, safety from Buford. Georgia's in a good position for him. Brett Collegier, they continue to battle USC and Miami for the coveted offensive lineman out of IMG Academy, but they're at the forefront of that recruitment as well.